A life of unimaginable luxury came with one heavy price: no privacy at all. For kings and queens trapped in gilded cages of duty, a secret love could mean scandal or even the loss of a crown. But hidden in the very stone of their palaces were the solutions, clandestine tunnels and passages that became the secret arteries of royal romance. You are about to journey into the shadows of history to explore the most famous and scandalous tunnels where ultimate power and forbidden passion secretly met. We will uncover the architectural secrets behind these legendary passageways, from the Grand Palace of Versailles to the ancient corridors of the Vatican, revealing how the most watched people on earth stole moments for love. What kind of story would you risk an empire for? The Palace of Versailles stands as a monument to absolute power, a sprawling complex of glittering halls designed to showcase the Sun King's glory. But behind the gilded walls and beneath the marble floors lay another, far more intimate world. King Louis XIV was a master of stagecraft, and he understood that true power often resided in the shadows. He engineered a labyrinth of secret passages and hidden staircases, a private network that allowed him to move through his own palace unseen. The most famous of these secrets was the Oeil de Boeuf, the bull's eye antechamber. This small room, adjacent to the king's bedchamber, was far more than a waiting area. Its walls were punctuated with discreet doors, perfectly aligned panels that swung open silently into the royal apartments. From here, the king could vanish in an instant, escaping the endless gaze of his courtiers. These corridors were not merely for romantic trysts, they were instruments of control. By controlling who he saw and when, Louis XIV mastered the flow of information and favor. This system of clandestine movement was perfected by his great-grandson, Louis XV, who took the art of the secret rendezvous to new heights. His official mistresses, known as the maîtresses en titre, held immense political influence, and their apartments were strategically connected to this hidden web. Elaborate tunnels, some wide enough for a sedan chair, led directly to the rooms of Madame de Pompadour and later Madame du Barry. Imagine the scene: the public ceremonies in the Hall of Mirrors would conclude, the court would retire, and under the cover of darkness, a king would slip through a bookcase that was actually a door, descending a narrow staircase for a private audience. This system could not function without a vast network of complicity. Trusted servants, from valets to chambermaids, acted as silent sentinels. They knew the routes, they oiled the hinges to prevent telltale squeaks, and they discreetly managed the schedules to avoid unfortunate encounters. The entire palace, in a way, was complicit in the king's secrets. The grandeur of Versailles was a magnificent illusion, a public performance that masked a private world of whispered conversations and soft footsteps in the night. It was a world where a monarch could, for a few precious hours, shed the weight of his crown and simply be a man. Even the heart of Christendom was not immune to the pull of forbidden passions. While we think of the Vatican as a place of solemn prayer and spiritual authority, its ancient stones also conceal stories of human frailty and secret desire. One corridor in particular, the Passetto di Borgo, stands as a stark monument to this duality. It is a fortified passage a half-mile long and towering high above the Roman streets, linking the Vatican Palace directly to the imposing Castel Sant'Angelo. Built as an escape route for popes in times of peril, it found a very different purpose under one of the most controversial pontiffs in history, Pope Alexander VI, Rodrigo Borgia. For him, this stone artery was not a path to safety, but a private highway for his clandestine life. His most famous liaison was with a woman of legendary beauty, Giulia Farnese. Contemporaries, both scandalized and captivated, referred to her as the Pope's whore, a testament to the open secret of their relationship. The Passetto provided the perfect solution to the problem of prying eyes within the Vatican walls. Under the cover of darkness, a figure could slip from the papal apartments into the elevated walkway, completely unseen by the cardinals and courtiers below. This was not a journey of a king to a mistress's boudoir, but of a pope, the spiritual leader of millions, moving through a secret stone throat to meet his lover. It was a breathtaking use of sacred architecture for profoundly personal and deeply controversial ends. Yet, the story of hidden passions within the Vatican walls extends beyond the infamous Borgias. A century earlier, Pope Pius II, known as Aeneas Silvius Piccolomini before his papacy, wrote openly in his memoirs of his own youthful love affairs. He recounted tales of romance and attraction from his days as a poet and diplomat, suggesting that the struggle between sacred vows and human longing was a constant, even for those who would one day wear the papal tiara. His writings offer a poignant contrast, a more reflective and almost tragic acknowledgement of the heart's conflicts, buried within the official history of the Church. These Vatican passages tell a quieter, more complicated story than the grand dramas of Versailles. They speak of a different kind of gilded cage, one built of faith and expectation, where the whispers of temptation echoed down the very corridors meant for divine contemplation. The stone seems to hold the memory of two powerful forces in eternal tension, the sacred calling of the spirit and the undeniable human calling of the heart. While the Vatican walls held secrets of the spirit and the flesh, the palaces of Tudor England concealed a far more dangerous game. In the court of King Henry VIII, a secret passage was not just a route to romance, it was often a path to the scaffold. Hampton Court Palace, Henry's magnificent riverside showpiece, was a hive of whispers and watchful eyes, its very architecture designed for both spectacle and surveillance. Yet within its red brick walls, hidden staircases and secluded corridors allowed the king to orchestrate his most private affairs away from the relentless scrutiny of the court. One of the most enduring legends surrounds his passionate and ultimately fatal pursuit of Anne Boleyn. It is said a discreet staircase, known as the Horn Room Stairs, connected the king's private apartments directly to the rooms of the women he favored. Down these very steps, Henry might have slipped to steal a moment with the elusive Anne, their whispered conversations shaping the very fate of a nation and leading to the cataclysmic break with Rome. This was a world where a private meeting in a hidden corridor could alter the course of history. But the most poignant ghost in Hampton Court's labyrinth is not Anne Boleyn, but her cousin Catherine Howard, Henry's fifth wife. The story is immortalized in the palace's haunted gallery. According to the tale, after Catherine was accused of adultery and imprisoned in her rooms, she broke free from her guards. She ran desperately through this long gallery, her screams echoing off the wooden panels as she raced toward the chapel where the king was at prayer, hoping to plead for her life. She was dragged back, her fate sealed. Today, visitors sometimes report feeling a sudden chill or hearing phantom screams in that very corridor, a spectral echo of a young queen's final, frantic attempt to reach the man who held the power of life and death. The shadow of these tragic romances extends even to the Tower of London. Beneath its grim stones lay a network of tunnels and subterranean passages, used not for lovers' trysts but for the discreet and often final movement of prisoners. It was through these cold, dark corridors that Anne Boleyn herself was likely led to her execution on Tower Green. The same hidden routes that once facilitated secret love could, in a terrible twist, deliver that same love to the block. In Henry VIII's England, a hidden door could lead to a lover's embrace one day and a traitor's execution the next. The stone walls of his palaces hold the memory of both, the intoxicating whisper of promise and the devastating silence of betrayal. Across the sea, another empire perfected the art of the secret passage, weaving it into the very fabric of its power. The Topkapi Palace in Istanbul was not merely a royal residence, it was a labyrinth of intrigue, and at its heart lay its most enigmatic and protected space, the harem. This was not a simple collection of rooms, but a city within a city, a sealed world of hundreds of chambers, courtyards, and corridors, all designed for one purpose: the absolute privacy and security of the Ottoman Sultan. Within these walls, an intricate network of hidden passages and discreet staircases formed a private highway, allowing the Sultan to move unseen between his state apartments, the living quarters of his consorts, and the powerful suites of his mother, the Valide Sultan, who ruled this inner domain. These stone veins were the only way the most powerful man in the empire could navigate his most private life away from the gaze of his court and his thousands of Janissary guards. It was within this secretive world that one of history's most dramatic love stories unfolded between Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent and the woman known as Hürrem Sultan. She arrived in the harem as a slave named Roxilana, a captive from lands far to the north, but through her wit, her charm, and her profound understanding of the palace's hidden pathways, she captivated the Sultan's heart in a way no woman had before. Their romance was not confined to stolen moments. It was conducted through the very architecture of secrecy. Suleiman would use his private tunnels to visit her, and through these discreet journeys, their bond deepened, forever altering the politics of the empire. Defying centuries of tradition, Suleiman did not merely keep her as a favored concubine. He broke with all convention and made her his legal wife. Hürrem moved from the secluded world of the harem into a position of public, unprecedented influence, advising Suleiman on matters of state, corresponding with foreign kings, and shaping the future of the Ottoman dynasty through her sons. Their love story, whispered through the hidden corridors of Topkapi, demonstrates a profound truth that in these gilded cages, a secret passage was more than a convenience. It was a conduit for power, a channel for passion, and sometimes the very architecture that could change the destiny of empires. From the gilded cages of Versailles to the fortified harem of Topkapi, these secret passages reveal a profound and universal truth. The very individuals who appeared to possess absolute control over their world were in fact the most trapped by it. Their immense power came with the crushing burden of constant observation, making a simple, private moment the most elusive luxury of all. It is a deep irony that the grandest palaces, designed as symbols of unrivaled authority, had to be perforated with hidden escapes just so their inhabitants could experience something as fundamentally human as love. These stone arteries were not mere architectural quirks. They were essential release valves for the immense pressure of royal life. Within their silent, darkened confines, the weight of the crown could be momentarily lifted. Here, a king was not a monarch but a man, a pope not a pontiff but a person, a sultan not an emperor but a devoted partner. The whispers that once echoed off those walls were not just words of passion but the very seeds of history. A clandestine meeting could forge an alliance, a secret romance could produce an heir, and a broken heart could lead to a nation's religious transformation. These corridors were silent witnesses to the most intimate decisions, the ones that truly shaped our world. They remind us that history is not only made in grand council chambers and on bloody battlefields, but also in the quiet, hidden spaces where the human heart defies the rigid demands of duty. We have walked through the shadows of these incredible stories together, from the scandalous trysts in the Vatican to the tragic loves of the Tudors. Now, we would love to hear which of these secret passages or royal romances captured your imagination the most. Was it the tragic tale of Anne Boleyn, the ambitious rise of Hürrem Sultan, or the cunning secrets of the Sun King? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this journey into the hidden corners of history, subscribe for more mysteries waiting to be uncovered.